The sun and moon combined could not grant the beauty that my bride-to-be was gifted. If the gods blessed me, they did so with one eye closed. But their eyes were wide open for her.
I'm hurt. You never talk about me like that.
My sweet Misthios, such words cannot be handed out at will. It's as though Apollo himself is speaking through me.
So, you're in love.
Yes, the wedding nears, and there is so much to be done.
If you need help, I'm here for you.
Accepting before knowing what I ask of you? That's a rare surprise. I do still need a few things. Food for an offering, a ring, and some flowers. If you could bring them to my bride, Iris, she'll make use of them.
I've known you for a while now, but you've never mentioned Iris.
There's plenty I haven't mentioned. I'm sure you could say the same to me.
So what is it about Iris that turns you into, well, what I saw?
You're not jealous, are you? Don't worry. She's very open. I suppose that's one of my favorite things about her. The openness.
So, flowers, a ring, and food. Where can I find Iris?
She should be at the altar of love. Aptly named, don't you think? Oh, and don't be too taken by her beauty.
I think this will be a nice enough offering. Stay hidden if I don't want to fight. What is that? There it is. Here it is.
You're not welcome here, sellsword! Flee! No!
These flowers should be good enough for the wedding. Hopefully this jewelry is up to Alcibiades' standards.
It can't be!
Let me guess. Alcibiades sent you.
He did. How did you know?
He has a skill for making others do things he doesn't want to. On top of that, he prefers if those people are attractive. He's so predictable. It's what made this whole thing so easy.
It almost sounds like you're using him. What has been easy?
Making him fall in love with me, of course. Please, Alcibiades is not the man you marry for love.
Then why are you marrying him?
Alcibiades has a true chance of ruling one day. Well, he'll be the face, but I'll be the one truly leading. The Aspasia to his Pericles.
How can you treat someone like Alcibiades that way?
Oh, please. If anyone deserves it, it's Alcibiades. Surely you've noticed. The obsession with sex, the lies, the drinking.
So lying to him is what he deserves?
Of course. And it's not like he'll get nothing in return. I mean, look at me.
And what if I tell Alcibiades all of this?
Why would you? You've seen him. He's happy. And I'll make sure he stays that way. There's nothing wrong with me getting something in return. But it's your choice. Thanks for helping with the wedding.
It's all done.
Wonderful. So, what did you think about Iris?
You must see something in her that I don't.
Well, that's true. Quite often, too. But still, I'm surprised to hear you say that.
You can't marry her. She told me she's using you for her own gain.
Is that so?
It is.
I knew she was special. To think I wasn't able to catch on. I can't wait to marry her. I'm glad you and I were able to work together, Cassandra.
So what was all of this for? Everything you had me do couldn't have been for nothing.
You've earned my trust. Are you sure you want to know?
So that package in Corinthia?
I almost forgot about that. I needed to get rid of the Odoros to pay off a debt. Plus, I needed spies to infiltrate Vardas's command. Even though you didn't say Theodoros is the one who sent the package, I still managed to get what I want.
All right. What about the politician?
He was brilliant and opposed me. A fatal combination. So, he needed replacing, and I had a much dumber man perfect for the job. He survived the party and you got him home safely. But it didn't matter in the end.
The woman with the Olysvos.
We talked about this. It wasn't about the woman, but her husband. He governs the trade routes between Attica and Mecharis. Or, I should say, I do now.
What about your friend? The one pretending to be a man?
That was out of the goodness of my heart. and gods curse anyone who doubts that.
I've heard enough.
Aren't you going to ask me about Iris?
Let me guess. Rich house, respected family. With her wealth, you can rule all of Athens.
Of course not. I marry for love. If those other things happen, well, I wouldn't complain.
I never would have guessed.
Each time everyone sees a more serious Alcibiades. The Alcibiades I've only shown glimpses of in the past. One day you'll see everything I was working toward. And you'll know you helped make it happen. Attica and lands far beyond will thank you, even if they don't know your name.
I'm glad I could help. I'll make sure you don't forget me when you lead Athens.
I'd never forget you. You're far too useful.
I'm here to see Socrates.
Cassandra!
You know who I am?
Of course I do. Socrates never stops talking about you.
And you are?
His wife, of course. I'm Xanthippe.
Socrates never told me he had a wife.
Typical. The only time he's quiet is when he's eating. Yet he can't find time to mention me.
So where is Socrates? I got a note that said to meet him here.
That's what I'd like to know. He went to another symposium last night, and he didn't come home after.
Sounds like a good place to start looking.
I was just about to head there myself. Come, keep me company.
How long have you and Socrates been married?
It's been quite some time now.
What is it about him that you love so much?
Love is not the word I'd use. He frustrates me to no end.
That doesn't surprise me.
Even so, it's worth the frustration. His mind is like no other. Not to mention, he's quite a bit lover.
That is not something I wanted to picture. It must be why Alcibiades seems so infatuated with him.
Don't mention that name around me. Always coming by drunk, sending Socrates gifts like giant cakes.
I didn't know.
It's fine.
Xanthippe!
over here!
Aera there is Imaston.
Xantippe!
What is it?
Socrates! They took him away. They said he was under arrest.
For what?
I have no idea. We were just talking after the symposium. I'd say go ask him yourself, but he'll be guarded. They took him southeast of here.
That fool! I knew this would happen to him one day.
I'll find him. Don't worry.
This is his doing. It's best to let these things run their course.
Can't believe Socrates was arrested. I need to find out what happened. The watch will be vigilant here.
This is gonna hurt, Messias!
Can't be! Get this bird out of my...
Don't drag this out! Just die already! I'm burning! Help!
Cassandra, what are you doing here?
I could ask you the same.
Well, here I am. Though I'm more curious about how you are here. The guards let you in?
We've known each other a long time now. You know how I got in here.
You've taught me that the blade can sometimes be necessary. But I don't think this was one of those times.
I was worried about you.
Your care is appreciated, but if you had waited only a bit longer, I'm sure my trial would have taken place and I'd be free.
You're not going to trial. We're getting you out of here.
I understand your concern, but what good would escaping do other than prove I'm guilty? No. In fact, I'm looking forward to this trial.
You would go to trial just to prove you can convince them of your innocence?
Exactly. You have your ways to find excitement, and I have mine.
What were you arrested for?
I haven't the slightest idea.
And that doesn't bother you?
Sometimes understanding does not come at the moment we would like. More importantly, this is giving me the necessary time to think.
About?
I went to see the Pythia, and she told me there is none wiser than me. An intriguing thought, and one I've been unable to stop thinking about.
Socrates, the Pythia is...
It matters not what you believe she is or she isn't. I must examine not only her words, but my own self as well. I know nothing, so how could I be called wise?
What does that have to do with being locked up?
I believe my time here and this trial may help me find the answer. I will be fine. Trust me.
I've known you for a while now.
That's true.
And you'd call us friends?
I would.
and friends share important things with one another. Is that so?
It is.
Then how did I not know you were married? From what you just said, that means either we're not friends, or that friends don't share with one another. So, which is it?
I've wondered how much of our conversation you've taken to heart. And now, I have my answer.
Were you doing anything when you got arrested?
If speaking my mind is worth imprisonment, then I suppose I was.
In the future, you may want to be more careful.
You risk life and limb every time you draw your blade. Just because it's my tongue that is sharp, doesn't mean I'm not prepared to face the consequences of using it.
Since you won't leave with me, I'll go see the Pythia myself.
That's not necessary.
I'll find out why she told you that. I won't let you go to trial, even if you think you'll be found innocent.
Ah, Cassandra, you...
I'll come back when I have what I need. I should try to stay out of sight.
That will feed me for a year! That defeat me! Let them do that again! This won't take long. Glory!
go!
Oh, no. Not you.
You remember me?
Just go. I'm too old for this.
Life ends here.
There might be a bit of blood when you go upstairs.
You again!
I'm here for a different reason.
After last time, they tortured me. I thought they were going to kill me, just like I told you. It hurt so badly, I begged for death.
I didn't mean for that to happen.
Just hurry, and tell me what you want.
You told Socrates something, and I want to know why.
Questioning why the Pythia speaks is a strange thing.
I know why you speak, and I know who controls your voice. Tell me why the cult had you tell Socrates he's the wisest.
The cult didn't tell me to say that. I did that on my own.
Tell me the truth, or I'll force you to.
I gain nothing by lying to you. If you and Socrates are close, you are my ally in this as well.
An ally for what?
I know much of Socrates. Not only has he visited me often, but his students do as well.
Get to the point.
You know the gods don't speak through me. I feel Socrates is the one who can convince others of this. If he succeeds, the cult will have no more need for me.
So you're hoping he comes to the conclusion that the gods don't exist?
It matters not if Socrates believes they exist. He needs simply to doubt that the gods speak through me.
If you just told him your words aren't from the gods, wouldn't that serve the same purpose? And much quicker?
Socrates is not the type to desire the answer so easily. He'll have more drive when he finds the answer on his own.
I understand why you think Socrates can help, but why tell him he's the wisest?
He'll delve into what it means to be wisest. It's my hope he'll conclude he's not, and therefore doubt the words of the gods.
This is getting complicated.
Whatever you do, you can't tell Socrates.
I understand. He has to come to the answer on his own.
Exactly. Although, if you truly wish to help Socrates, a student of his came by not long before you. He seemed distraught.
Distraught?
He was clutching a book tightly to his chest and kept looking over his shoulder. He told me he was going into a tomb nearby until things were safe.
Thank you. I'll find him.
Please, don't come back here again.
This is it.
Find the boy and take the papyrus.
Sorry for sharing my fear of tombs with you.
What was that?
Nothing.
We need it!
They're using tricks on us!
Ilios chases Selene again.
bigger than I thought. He has to be around here somewhere. You don't need to be scared now. I'm not with them.
That doesn't mean you won't kill me. You just want this for yourself.
I'm a friend of Socrates.
You are? Prove it.
I've never met someone as smart as Socrates. I always think about our conversations long after they finished.
You know him all right. I'm sorry for doubting you.
Why were those men after you?
For some reason, they wanted these writings of Socrates's. Well, I wrote them, but it's all his words.
That seems like a strange thing to want.
One of them had a big mouth. He mentioned something about the priest at the sanctuary of Athena Pronea. He said this was the final thing they needed to get rid of Socrates.
What drew you to Socrates?
I've never met a man like him, and I don't think I ever will again. Every day with him is one worth waking up for.
I've always been curious. What does Socrates teach you?
So much. Follow him around for an entire day and you won't be able to sleep. Your mind will be so aflutter with thoughts.
I'm not sure I'd last a whole day with him. I'll take care of the priests.
Thank you. And, well, please, give this to Socrates. It hurts me to say this after all I've learned from him, but I have a family. I can't risk being caught up in whatever this is.
So you're going to stop being his student?
It feels I have no choice. Maybe one day that will change.
I'll be sure to give him the writings.
Thank you. Make sure he stays safe. The world will be a worse place without him in it.
That student gave me an idea. Xanthippe said there was a symposium. Maybe I can convince the others who were there to help Socrates. I'm not sure why the priests want Socrates gone, but I need to take care of them. I need to talk to them. Maybe I can convince them.
Do not students take what they learn from their teachers? What then if the teacher is wrong? Does that not simply perpetuate these wrong teachings amongst future generations?
You assume the students aren't wise enough to understand the flaws of the teacher. Think of those who came before us. First Thales, then his student Anaximandros, and then Anaximenes. Without the teachings of those before him, it's safe to say Anaximenes would not have reached the conclusions he did.
I don't think that's true at all. Oh, perhaps this new phase can offer a different perspective.
A student gets to take all the knowledge of their teacher without needing to come up with answers themselves. If they're smart, they should surpass those they studied under.
An astute observation. The time saved by receiving the knowledge allows the student not only to expand on the ideas, but to come up with more of their own. But what if the student expands on ideas without first seeking the truth behind them?
If we listen to others and take what they say as fact, we have only ourselves to blame.
So, no matter who is speaking, student or teacher, we must spend time trying to understand if what they say is even true.
Your appearance betrays you, Mistios. Clearly, you've taken on a teacher of your own.
Something like that. He's the reason I'm here. Socrates needs your help.
Socrates? Ha! If it's another debate you want, it will be hard for us to decide who hates that man more. Why would we help him?
You can either help him, or I can show you that I'm not a Misthios only in looks.
I didn't realize Socrates taught his students to harm those who disagree with them.
I'm a different student than you're used to.
We wouldn't stand a chance against you in a fight. But that doesn't mean we will do what you say through threat of violence. You've been an interesting part of the conversation thus far. So we will give you another chance. Why should we help Socrates?
Shouldn't we help those in need?
As much as we possibly can, yes.
And isn't Socrates in need?
I suppose so.
If you saw a traveler, wounded, on the side of the road, would you help him? Or would you first find out if he was a good person?
Obviously, we would rush to help.
Right now, Socrates is that wounded traveler. He needs your help.
Fine, fine. You've made your point, and you've made it well. Socrates deserves our help, but we don't give it lightly.
That makes it worth even more.
We'll be on our way then. We'll gather some others as well. Make sure our voices are heard. Believe it or not, we're pretty good at causing a scene.
If you're like Socrates, that's not hard to believe.
Wow, I've never seen someone convince them so easily before.
Is that so? I guess I should feel proud. I'm surprised to see a child here.
Is there an age at which it would suddenly be okay to debate with them? What then of the night before I turned that age? Should we be prevented from doing what we wish due to the world's view of us?
I can't even have a normal conversation with a child.
Normal is no fun. Look around. Everyone here wants the same thing.
Headaches?
Debate!
You're the first kid I've met who'd rather debate than play.
Don't tell the others, but I'm envious that you're a student of Socrates. I hope one day to be as well.
You're on the right path. What's your name?
Aristocles. Although I've never liked that name much.
It does sound like countless others I've heard around Athens. Why not choose another?
I can do that? Huh. My brother always had a problem saying my name, so he called me Plato instead. Perhaps I'll use that.
I like it.
Thank you. Well, I better hurry after the others. Here.
You can't be here, Miss Milo!
Those priests must be the ones who hired the thugs and want to get rid of Socrates.
That's good.
Now that all the priests are dead, they won't be able to testify against Socrates. Socrates, you're... here.
I am.
What happened? The trial couldn't have taken place that quickly.
Had I been given the chance to defend myself, it would have been quick indeed. But unfortunately for me, I was let free before I could.
That's good news.
Apparently, those who had charges to bring against me were found dead. And evidence they claimed to have went missing.
It sounds like someone was looking out for you.
There were also some people protesting my arrest, I was told. I have to ask, did you have something to do with this?
Do you really need to ask?
No, but you still deserve the chance to answer.
Did you have time to find an answer for the Pythia's words?
I thought it would have taken much longer than it did, but the moment I stopped thinking about it, it came to me like a flash of Zeus's lightning.
We should get you home. I'm sure you'll be more comfortable there.
In some ways, that will be true. In others, well, Xanthippe will decide that. Being free feels good, but I don't believe Xanthippe will be happy with me.
She has a good reason to be mad this time.
We argue often about how I need to be careful with what I say and where I say it. This will only give her more cause to bring it up.
That doesn't sound very fun.
Oh, you misunderstand. I love it.
You do?
People see Xanthippe and believe it is her beauty that drew me to her. But it is her argumentative spirit I lust for.
Nobody ever likes that about me.
Having my opinions and thoughts challenged helps me to refine them and to grow as a person.
And she likes these arguments?
I doubt it, but it is in those fiery moments that her spirit is strongest, like an untamed horse.
Don't call her a horse to her face.
I'm afraid your advice is a bit too late.
Get some more shake, Socrates. Things I do? Sometimes hard to know.
Let's hurry back before anything else happens.
Malaka. Better check that out. Somebody wants you very dead. Crimson!
You came back. Finally. I'm ready to return to Athens. I've had enough of Phokis and this talk of the Pythia.
You will be happy to hear I have no need for her words any longer.
Ah, then something positive came out of this after all.
I just remembered. A student of yours has been taking notes of your teachings. He wanted you to have them. What did you do that for?
Nobody asked him to write down my words.
Even so, why not keep it? Share it with others.
Because of a story I was told as a boy.
All right, let's hear it.
The king of Egypt, Thamos, was visited by the god Thephtha. Thephtha offered the invention of writing to the king and told him it was an elixir of memory and wisdom. But Thamos disagreed. He believed the people would no longer use their memories, for they would simply read instead. These written words would not offer true wisdom, but only the appearance of such.
You don't want your own words written down, so others can't use them to pretend to be smart.
Much like creatures in a painting, the words sit there unmoving. If you ask them a question, they will preserve a solemn silence. And no matter how many times you ask, they will only ever say the same thing. They cannot defend their message.
That's the part you like. The defense of your words.
All who speak should defend their words if questioned about them. That is why I choose to speak and not write. That is why any words of mine that last beyond my final breath will be those that people choose to remember. Those words will be true wisdom and not an illusion.
What's your plan now?
After I return to Athens, there's much I need to consider.
You'll be careful, right?
If I have to choose between saying nothing and staying safe, or speaking up and risking my life, the choice is easy.
I should get going. I'm glad you're free.
As am I, although, if you allow me, there is something.
I doubt I could stop you.
We like to believe that action means progress, but it's control that's so truly desired. The more we do, the more control it seems we have, but the less we allow for others. If we grip too tightly, we'll find we've crushed what it is we're holding on to.
Meaning?
Meaning we must sometimes let life unfold without trying to influence the outcome.
I'll keep that in mind. I almost forgot. In your letter you said you had something to ask me. What was it?
You know, I've completely forgotten now. Take care, Cassandra.
Stay out of trouble, Socrates.